Okay, so I want to fast track these examples. Again, I do one, you do one. I do one, you do two. I do three, you do four. I do five, you do six. Okay, so the first form that I listed apparently is intercept form, which is fine. Then vertex form, then standard form. So I want to fly through this and then cover these charts at least on one of the examples off to the side. And then you can fill out the charts and the other ones for homework. This is intercept form. So the intercepts are wrong. Good start. Having a rough day. 1 comma 0, the 0 of this, and negative 3 comma 0. So 1 comma 0, negative 3 comma 0. You just either know it or you don't at this point. All right, this is review. This is not new. So we got to get this done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is the x-coordinate of the vertex, where the axis of symmetry lies. And then I actually throw that in this little chart off to the side. My class, we did this a million times. All right, and then hopefully at this point we remember some of these things. So 1 is the x-coordinate of the vertex. The y-coordinate of the vertex comes from plugging in 1 for x and solving. Lo and behold, 1 minus 1 is 0. Let me see if I made... I'm sorry, I'm a maroon. Another mistake. Negative 1 is the x-coordinate. I can't go left correctly. Negative 1. All right, so negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. And negative 1 plus 3 is 2. So 2 times negative 2 times 2 is negative 8. So where do we have that? I don't have that anywhere. So the vertex is negative 1 comma negative 8. And I might want to graph that. All right, and then the y-intercept doesn't quite show up real well, but we could plug in 0 for x to find the y-intercept, and it is actually a nice number. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Negative 2. Negative 6 is the y-intercept. So this is a picture. Now I want this picture to actually answer these questions. Domain means what are the x's I can plug in for x. I can plug in any x that I want. This goes forever out, forever out. So x's are all real numbers. Remember that. Remember domain means x's, and for a parabola like this, that's the answer. But the range is different. The range is what y values are covered. Well, these are the y values that are covered. That's the y-axis. So what is the range? Wrong. We use a bracket because negative 8 is included in the range all the way up to infinity. All right. I did find the y-intercept by plugging in 0 for x. So that's why I left this work here. This is a 2. And then solving. That's what a y-intercept always is. But for intercept form, it's not as easy to find. You have to do some work on it. And then that's why I kind of said that, and I forgot I had it written over here. So I plugged in 0 for x, and I got negative 6 for y. What are the zeros? Well, thank goodness this is in intercept form. The zeros are the x-intercepts. This is also called roots. All right? Then, some fancy questions like this. What is this graph doing as I go from left to right up to here? And the answer is it's decreasing. So what is the interval that it decreases? Remember, this describes the y's. We want the x's that create the decreasing behavior. So the x's that I plug in are negative infinity for x, all the way up to negative 1 for x, creates that decreasing behavior of y. So that's how we express that. Then what's my graph doing here? Sha-na-na-na-na-na. Increasing. What x's make the increasing behavior? These x's in order, from negative 1 to infinity. So recall how to answer those. That's at least one question or two on the final pertaining to that. Equation of the axis of symmetry, that is this line that cuts it in half. That is a vertical line. Vertical lines are x equals numbers. We just did that in chapter 16, reminding you of lines and what their equations are. It's x equals negative 1. All right, so what's the vertex represent, a max or a minimum? Well, that is the lowest point of the graph, so that is a minimum. What is the minimum? Negative 8. Where is the minimum? That's the x-coordinate, negative 1. So we made a big deal about what is the max min, where is it? That's fun. I love when that keeps coming up. Okay, so I do, you do. So you go ahead and do number 2 using all that information. I'm just going to proceed on to number 3. And I don't know if I'll be able to do the domain and all this other stuff, or I'll fast track it. All right, this is vertex form, and we need to recognize it. So the vertex is 1, comma 2. All right, 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 squared is 0. 0 times this is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. So the 0 of this parenthesis is the x-coordinate of the vertex. That's what we discovered when we analyzed these pictures. So again, get that figured out. All right, this is the vertex. Okay, so 1, comma 2. 1, comma 2. Now this graph does go which direction? And the answer is down. So we will have x-intercepts. The x-intercepts aren't necessarily as fun to find when you're in this form. You might want a graphing calculator. I'm not sure they would ask that on the test, but let's pretend they did. The x-intercepts or zeros comes from plugging in 0 for x. So again, this is going to take a little bit longer, but what this does is prepare you for solving in chapter 13 through 14 and 15 and all that stuff. So you subtract 2, kind of going into this much more than I wanted to. Then you multiply both sides by -2. So these are all basics of solving that have been an issue maybe a little bit this year. And then when you free that x minus 1, it's actually x minus 1 equals plus minus 2. Now, when you add 1 to both sides, you just got to be careful. You get, well, I'm going to write this as x-intercepts. So you get 2 plus 1, which is 3, comma 0 for y, and then -2 plus 1, which is -1, comma 0. So 3, comma 0, -1, comma 0, and it does kind of fit. All right. Y-intercept we're not even going to find on this one. You can plug in 0 for x and then solve for y, but I'm not going to waste the time. All right, so domain. Again, it's all real numbers. -infinity to infinity. Range. This one's different. The range actually is here on down. Those are the y's that are covered by this graph. So it's -infinity all the way up to 2. That's the range. Interval of increase, from here to here, the graph is going up, but it's these x values that you plug in. So again, fast tracking this. -infinity to 1. Again, this is on YouTube. You can stop and rewind and re-look at it if I'm going too fast. All right. This goes down from here to here, so interval of decrease is 1 to infinity. 1 was the x-coordinate of the vertex, right. Equation of the axis of symmetry, chapeau. That's x equals 1, vertical line. Min or max? You have a max. What is the max? The y-coordinate. Where is the max? The x-coordinate. That's how you answer those questions. Last but not least, you do 4 now. I do 5, which creates a little bit more work because 5, we got to do the negative b over 2a thing. And I am in a factor, so you guys hang on to your hats with that one. All right, but anyway, the y-intercept is staring you in the face, 0, 12. Oh no, it's off the screen. How terrible. All right, and then the vertex, let's do that. So it's negative b when you have a standard form over 2a, which is -4 over -2, which is 2. 2 comma what? You plug in 2. Now be careful. You do not square that negative. 2 squared is 4. 4 plus -2 is -2. What? 4 with a negative on is -4. Oh man, this is going to be a big, I must have screwed this one up a little bit. Hopefully it works out. I did something real fast with this one. Oh well. All right. 2 squared is, hold on, let me pause the video for a second. I'm freaking out. Yeah, I'm okay. I was just freaking out that this goes off the screen, so we're just going to have to play around with it here. But this is -4 plus 8 plus 12, which is 16. So I created a question where the vertex is off the screen for what I have graphed here, along with the y-intercept. So we'll just have to deal with it, and I apologize for that. So 2 comma 16 is like way up here somewhere. All right, so kind of ugly. All right, so knowing that that's the case, and then knowing, these have what would he call this is the axis of symmetry. So symmetry, I can use symmetry, there we go, to find the reflected point over the axis of symmetry. So 4, comma 10 would also be a coordinate, just so you know. All right, and then how could you find the zeros? Again, I'm going to fast track this through factoring, all right, or quadratic formula, if you will. That's what the zeros are. You plug in zero, roots, whatever you want to call it, solutions, all those different names. Now what I'm going to do is multiply both sides by a negative. The reason is this is very factorable, and you'll be able to see it through simple MA that we did with these kind of questions. When 1 is the leading coefficient, famous saying, good FOILers are good factors. This is a perfect unfoilable situation through MA. What multiplies a negative 12 and, adds to negative 4? No time. The answer is pause if you want to try to figure it out yourself, but it's negative 6 times 2, negative 6 plus 2. That multiplies a negative 12 and adds to negative 4. So that's why good FOILers, good factors, check my work. FOIL this, you'll get that. Anywho, x equals 6 when you use the zero product property, x equals negative 2. So the x-intercepts are 6, 0, and negative 2, 0. All right, then we're going to move on. See how it fits? 6, 0, negative 2, 0. And then the graph is going to look something like this. It's a little bit off the screen. We can handle it. All right, the domain is all real numbers. The range is, well, it's all the way up here down to negative infinity, but you have to go in order. Negative infinity all the way up to that high y value of 16, and it's a bracket because it includes. What's my graph doing from here to here? It's increasing this time. So this increases from negative infinity plugged in for x all the way up to 2 plugged in for x. And you just use parentheses on intervals of increase and decrease. What's my graph doing from here to here? It's decreasing using these x's as the input values. So 2 to infinity, the graph decreases. Equation of axis of symmetry, x equals 2. Max or min, you have a max. What is the max? It is 16. Where is the max? 2. So, done with the movie. You do the others. I got through more than I thought. 23 minutes, not too bad.